Okay guys, this is part 2, and all I did was gently put my bone folder in that and gently made these 2 creases. Gently take your time and do it, okay? We are not going to put paper right here. It's a waste of paper, and so we're not going to do that. So let's put this off to the side. We're done with this part of it, okay? Now, let's get our scoreboard. I like to use this one with this tip. It's a little bit bigger tip. And we're going to get our 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And we are going to score. I still have that cold. Okay, so we're going to score right here. Always watch the directions. 1 12 by 12 sheet of paper, your score at 1/2 and 2 1/8 all the way around on all 4 sides. 2 1/8 is, so there's the 2, and then the little blue one on the Martha Stewart, and then that's 1/4, and then that's the 1/2. So let me show you. The 2, the light blue next notch is 1/8, then that's the 1/4. So it's 2 1/8, and it has to be exactly this because of the size and all. So let me remember myself. 1/2, and 2 1/8. I'd rather check twice than make a mistake. 1/2, 2 1/8. I like to hold my paper down so it doesn't wiggle and move. That 1/2 is always kind of tricky because it's so close to the edge. And 1/8. Make sure it's snug. Okay. 1/2. 2 1/8. We're done scoring. Put that up. I don't know if you see the score lines or not. Okay, the 1/2 score line, I do not even fold it or anything. But the 2 1/8, let's go ahead and put a nice crease on it. And let's line it up edge to edge to make sure it keeps the crease it belongs. We can go ahead and use our bone folder down. Okay. Okay. Now, there's your box. You're going to fold it in. Let me see. Did I forget a step? I think I gotta make tabs, don't I? Yes. So we have to make tabs. Let's see. I think I'm gonna have to show you. I don't know if y'all are gonna be able to see it on this paper. So this square, this this 3 pieces right here are gonna come out. Let me draw on a piece of paper what I mean. The long one, the little square one, and the next long one. that one, and that one, they have to come out, okay? Because we're going to make a tab. I think everybody knows how to make a tab. So I need to write on this, make a tab. Tab by cutting out 3 squares. So it would look like this, this, and this. That one, and that one. Like an L shape. An L shape. That one, and that one. Okay? I think everyone knows how to make a tab. And then you're going to follow me along right here. So there's the first one, right there. There's the second one. And then we're going to the score line. And then that one. We're going to go ahead and cut up here. We're going to take a sliver out. And we're going to take a sliver out. Okay, so there's the tab. And then, so we're going to take the little square first, just so you know, but you can do it all at one time. And we're going to cut up to that second score line. And we're going to take out that little sliver. Then we're going to cut this score line and take that out. So it was here, here, and here were the pieces. So we took those 3 pieces out. Okay, we're going to cut to the score line, and we're going to take a sliver. That's a pretty good size sliver. It's going to be a lot smaller than that. Okay, and we're going to take a sliver. That's a good sliver there. Okay, and then we're going to do it on this side also. So instead of me showing you, I know to cut both of these at one time. Go to the second score line. And I know to cut this one at one time. Okay. So now I'm going to cut straight up. I'm going to take that sliver. It's to cut that corner so it doesn't have too much bulk is what you're doing. Okay. Cut to the second score line. I'm going to cut 2 of these at one time. Cut this one at one time. The reason why I like to go ahead and cut my squares is because when I'm doing the sliver, if it's too long for me, then I don't get the right cut. Probably because I'm using too big of a scissors. Okay, so it doesn't matter which direction, just so you make a box, okay? The pattern you don't want to use, you're looking at. So let's fold these down. Fold that down. Fold that down. I can see on mine that I'm not on the score line, so I'm having to come back in and cut to make it straight, or it won't want to fold very well. It's hard to see this paper even for myself. I don't know how y'all are able to see it. but see, I was off. All the rest of them look good. Okay, so now the cover is the opposite, or the pattern, but you could have used this pattern if you want. So we're bringing it in and we're lining it up and squaring it off really nice. So this is the sides of your box. So let's put that tab in. Let's do the next one. You line it up nice and square. Okay, and then rub out that glue. Rub out that glue. You see? Okay. I still never folded down that 1/2 inch. And I'll explain why when we get to that. There's no reason to crease it and then be wrong on the walls. So we're lining that box up. Yes. So this box here is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. Once we've done all the scoring and all the stuff, it fits Anna Griffin's cards beautifully. Friends Who Love Anna Griffin. That is the name of that group. And let me pull the glue off. I have just enough time. Let me re-add that glue. I got lucky there. Friends Who Love Anna Griffin is the group in Facebook where they share everything Anna Griffin. So I got lucky there. I was able to do that. Okay, so there's the box, but it's not the right color. This we're going to glue down, but this is the sides that you wanted to match. Okay, so this one is going to go sideways. This one's going to be the back of it. It's upside down. See how it's upside down? That's the back of the wall that you won't see. This one is the sideways, and this one is the front because it's facing forward. So then this, when you open it, you want your paper to look at you here. And so what I have to do is I cut this at 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, but now it's a little snug because it's exactly the same. So now we have to take and trim a little bit at a time. And you have to, and I can't tell you the exact size because I don't know how thick your scoring will be. So, I mean, we are taking less than 1/8. So let's just take a little bit off and see. This is how much I'm taking off on 2 sides, and then we'll re-measure. And we may have to cut this 4 times to get where we want it. So let's see. Yes. So I cut that much off on both directions. Okay, so there we go. Now we have to glue this down. We're almost done, guys. People are saying, who's Anna Griffin? She is a card stationery maker for wedding invitations for like 30 years, but then 25 years ago, I started watching her on QVC selling kits to make albums. and I used to buy her stuff, and I have ever since. So that's who she is. Okay, guys, so let's make sure our directions, and let's make sure we can get this in here. And glue it down. I have to get the glue off of me with my ink on my fingernails looking kind of ratchet. But yeah, so let's get that to stick. Okay. Now we have dividers. And we need 5 at 7 3/4 by 1 5/8. They're sidewalls. I've already covered, and we need the paper to be the same size. All I did was just, and I have extra to cut off. So I glued these 3 on, and we're going to stick them here. But I have to take about this much off of each one of them so that they fit nicely. But since I've already glued those, we only need to glue it on one side. Let me show you how I glue this one. Okay, so I have the paper down, and try to get as close to the edge as you can so that you don't have to trim that. You have a little bit of wiggle room, and you glue it down. And I've got glue and stuff stuck to me, and while that's drying, because I have to cut the extra, let's trim the extra. I thought about folding the extra over, but then it wouldn't come all the way up, and I didn't want it to bevel on the walls. So, wow, that wanted to come up. It's not glued down yet. Okay, let's cut this extra. I wish I could remember that lady's name. She puts all her videos up right at midnight, and she lives in the UK. I don't remember her name. So, okay, we have the sidewalls. So, we're going to put a wall in, but it looks like it needs to, see how it's got a little bow, and it's kind of wanting to push out. Let me see. Put my sidewalls. And see, when you put 2 in, you're definitely going to have to cut the last 2, because see, it's so tight. See, the first 2 fit perfectly, and I don't need to cut them. But the second 2 is touching these 2 edges, so of course it's going to want to it's going to want to have to be cut and bow. So okay, so let's go ahead and put 2 of the sidewalls in, and then we'll trim the other 2. And we're almost done. Okay, what I did was I tried to find a piece of paper that looked like it went straight up and covered it, so I tried to get it to match. So see how I got, that's why I switched out the sidewalls. I wanted it to match, and I think I did a good job of it matching, and it's that direction, so when you're looking at it, at least this one is the one that matches. So we want to make sure it's glued down. And then let's see what's going to match here. Probably nothing because it's all going a different direction. Okay, so we're going to do 2 sidewalls, and then cut the other 2. Okay, follow the direction of your paper. Make sure it is not upside down. And let's stick it in. We've stuck it in, and we're pressing down. Remember, we still have not folded that 1/2 inch or anything. Okay. There's 2 sidewalls. Now this one we know is not going to fit. So we're going to trim. So let's have it tied up against there so it's straight. And I took off that much first. Let's see if that was enough. And it was. So I'm going to do it to this one. I'm going to try to eyeball it again and get about not even 1/8. Does that work? So here's what I trimmed, and it's almost the same size. Let's see if it was enough. Nope, it was not enough. It needs a hair more, so this one's even going to be smaller. I would rather cut 3 times than cut once and it be just too small. Because remember, we don't have a lot of extra paper to play with either. And this is my 3rd cut. It's going to be a really small one. Thank goodness this guillotine lets you, even with chipboard, cut it. Okay, so that did work. So let's glue our other panels in. Doesn't take a lot of glue. Make sure the direction is going up. Okay. Oh, come on, slide over because I had it in the wrong place. So hopefully I can get it to square up. Okay, now let me recheck this. Did it want to fit or is it too tight? It's pushing on it. I need to actually cut it because this 3 sides just squared it up. So it's not as wobbly. So let me just take just a hair. Yeah. See, I mean, it was not very much at all. Okay. Let's make sure. Okay, good fit. Everyone's going to have to do that themselves. I can't tell you to cut 1/8 because it would be less than 1/8. If you're in a swap group, please share my video and say, hey, this was a good idea. Let's all do a swap making a box like this. That would be nice. Then I would get a little bit more followers, more views. Anything I can do to help any of y'all, don't hesitate to ask. Let's make sure it's going the right direction. Let's put our last wall inside. Okay. Let's glue her down. Okay. So this score line should fall right on top of that chipboard. And the reason why we're going to fold it over is we don't want to see the edge of the chipboard. So now let's easily, with the score line there, it should fall, and let's push over now. And that way, if we were a little off, it still wants to fold over and everything, but we were right on. I can feel it. I can feel it. So now we're going to go on all four sides, and we're going to push down. And what we're doing is we're going to give that finished edge. But you see how it's wanting to snag on that chipboard? We're going to take off the, whoops, see how it's wanting to snag on that chipboard? We're going to take off the smallest of little wedge so that it will, I mean the smallest you possibly can. If you can do without it and force it to fit in there, I wouldn't. But if you have to take out a little wedge, then go ahead. Some sides need the wedge, some sides don't. So what we're going to do is, now that we have creased it all where they all belong, we're going to lift them back up. And we're going to glue. The first one, 99% of the time, does not need the little wedge taken out because it's the first one. I'm having a hard time because of the light and seeing if I have enough glue. Let me just clean my glue. My little stick pin that goes with it got crooked, and I don't know where to find. I don't want to buy the new tip, but I just need a stick pin that fits in there. I keep trying different stick pins, and darn if they are too fat. So yeah, okay, now my glue's coming out. I'm sorry, guys. But this is such a small little piece that you definitely have to have a pretty good amount of glue on it. Okay, so we're doing all four sides. Okay, I'm going to do the opposite side. I'm trying to get away with, if I have to snip the edges of the wedge, I'm trying to only do it on 2 instead of 3. That's why I'm doing the opposite side. Come on, glue, don't fight with me now. Not when I only have these pieces to glue down in the divider. Alright, I'm taking that off. Oh, that's a lot of glue. You know, glue gets all over you and then your project gets dirty. Okay, let's gluing that down. Okay, now let's see. I'm going to have to take a wedge. See how it's wanting to hit on that? It's wanting to hit on that. Let's see if I'm going to have to. Yep, I am. I mean, tiny little wedge. That size. That size wedge on it. This one didn't need it. This one did. Just depends on if you hit that score line, because I still see a score line on this one. So yeah. Okay, so we're done with that. Now we can glue the other two sides. And now I've got a lot of glue coming out, so it'll be quick. Maybe with the videos I should not use the tip because it comes out a lot faster. But it's a lot. It's oozing on the project and my fingers. And thank goodness it is clear. You'll never see it. But it also makes my paper moist and kind of wants to rip. So that's not a good idea to take it off. But it's clogged. Okay, let's just use a little bit. Let's be a little easier on it. See the amount of glue? Okay. And our box is done, except for the divider. So the divider is 7 3/4 by 1 5/8, the same as the walls. And we're going to glue this paper on. Let me show you how we do this. Wow, that really came out. I'll show you how to do this. While it's drying, we'll put the box on. So put it to the edge. Okay. Put it to the edge. And make sure it's glued down nicely. We fold it over. Fold that over. We're going to glue it together. Okay. That way. And we're going to glue it on this side also. That way when you're looking at the divider on both sides, it's covered. And we're going to cut this off. Okay. Get it to go right on top of that. Oh, it's not dry yet. It went underneath. Let's let that dry. Come on, glue. I'm going to give it a little score to go up against it because it's not wanting to be tight enough. There we go. Oh, there we go. It went up against it that time. Okay. That's a sharper edge now. Some more glue. Oh, be light-handed without that tip. Some people may not even use the tip and they like this much glue, but okay. It's better to use this than your hands because your hands have the glue and the moisture, and it wants to fray your paper and make your paper tissuey. Okay, so while this dries, before we cut that, we're going to add the box to the project. Well, actually, let me just cut it. Just following that chipboard. Okay. And what I do is measure 2 inches in. I put glue here, here, and here. And I measure 2 inches in. And see, because it's tight, because this is the same size as the walls, I'm going to have to go in and just trim it just a hair. But let's go ahead and add the box. We didn't put paper here because it would be a waste because this is already doubled. So we're going to put the box here. I'm going to show you when I made this one. I think it's a little bit too far. It needs to be closer to the spine, so it squares up a little better. I like it to have a nice even lip, and this could have had a little bit more of a lip. But you see where 2 inches in, you glue on 3 sides, and you put it in, and you hold it against that wall, and you hold it down. So you're holding it like this and this at the same time. You're holding on the sides and like that to get that spine in. So now, this is the backwards, so it's going against this. It's not going to be glued to that spine. It's only going to be glued on the bottom, and it's going to be so close to that score line right there, or you know, the hinge right here. Okay, so let's put glue all over this. Get close to the edge because it needs to be. And this is going to squirt out glue for sure. Okay. So make sure it's going to go this direction. It's going to follow the pattern. So let me turn it this way. You get that out of the way. Let me fold up. I'm going to fold my pieces up, and I'm going to try to get it even, but I have enough playroom since it's glue. See if it's squared up. Let me see if I close it. See, it closes so much nicer. So I'm happy with that. Now, just press, press, press. Press, press, press. I can feel the glue down under there. With my warm finger, I'm spreading it. Okay, you don't have to add the divider. Some of my boxes don't have the divider. It depends on what you want to use it for. You could use cupcake holder things and put little cupcake holder things in here and divide it with little goodies and all. So I don't know if I'm going to add my divider. I have made it. Okay, there's the box. Oh, well, we would add feet. Just put the feet. I'm not going to show you. Just add the feet in the 4 corners. That's if you want to have it sitting down. Okay, you add the 4 flat backs. I bought this from Saw Crafters and she's out of business. So, or you could have it standing up like that or on feet. And then you tie it. And then the divider is 2 inches in. But remember, you're going to have to shave off just a hair. You see it's bowing out. And so you add it 2 inches in. So it depends on if you want it or not. But see, it's bowing out. So I'm going to shave off just a hair. But there is the project, everybody. I hope you liked it. You could decorate the top. You could decorate in here. You could put a sentiment or a tuck tab or a pocket. If you do a pocket, make sure it fits inside here and doesn't hit on the outside where it doesn't close flat. So I hope you like this project. Thank you, everyone. All my links are down below. Please follow me. Thank you.